My dad said you're beautiful, and a child's sentence transformed 2 lives. Emily Carter adjusted the wheelchair behind the coffee shop counter and dried another cup, trying to ignore the pitying looks from the morning customers. For 3 years, she had worked there at the small establishment in downtown Portland, building her independence one day at a time, proving to herself that she was still capable of much more than people imagined. That's when the door opened, and a man with a dark beard entered, carrying a small girl who was crying softly. The child clung to her father's neck as if the world were about to end, and Emily felt her heart tighten at the sight of that silent desperation. "Daddy, I don't want to go to the dentist anymore," the girl murmured between sobs. "I know, sweetheart, I know," replied the man, looking for a table in the most secluded corner of the cafe. Emily watched the pair settle in and noticed how exhausted the man seemed, with deep dark circles that betrayed sleepless nights. He ordered a simple coffee and tried to convince his daughter to have something, but the child just shook her head, no, her eyes still red from crying. Without a second thought, Emily prepared a special hot chocolate and decorated it with small, heart-shaped marshmallows. She always kept some special treats for the children who showed up there, a tradition that had started when she realized how her smile could brighten someone's day. She approached the table carefully, the tray balanced on her lap. The man looked up, surprised, when she stopped beside them. "Sorry to bother you," Emily said softly. "I noticed you're going through a tough time. This chocolate is special, made with lots of care." The man hesitated for a moment, clearly embarrassed by the situation. "You didn't have to go to any trouble, miss, thank you, but—" "Look, Daddy," the girl interrupted, stopping her crying when she saw Emily's wheelchair. "The lady has a special chair." "Lily, it's not polite to point," the father scolded, red with embarrassment. "It's okay," Emily smiled genuinely. "Hi, Lily, my name is Emily. And you're right, my chair is very special indeed." The girl wiped her tears with the back of her hand, curiosity replacing the fear in her brown eyes. "Did you hurt your leg?" Lily asked with the innocence typical of her 5 years. "I had an accident," Emily explained, adapting the truth for the child's age. "But you know what I found out? That people can be strong in different ways." The father watched the interaction in silence, impressed by Emily's naturalness in handling the question that always made him uncomfortable when other children asked it. "Do you work here?" Lily continued asking. "Yes, I do. I make the best hot chocolate in town." Emily winked at her. "Want to try yours?" Lily looked at her father, who nodded positively, still in shock from the unexpected kindness. The girl tasted the chocolate and her eyes lit up. "It's yummy!" she exclaimed. "Daddy, try it!" "Daniel Carter." The man introduced himself, extending his hand. "Thank you so much for your kindness." "Emily," she greeted him back. "Carter too. We're almost family then." The small moment of lightness made Daniel smile for the first time that morning. Lily, excited by the coincidence of the last names, began to chatter about how the dentist had said she would need braces. "Will it hurt a lot?" the girl asked Emily, as if she were an expert on all matters in the world. "You know what I think?" Emily leaned slightly to be at the child's level. "I think you're braver than you imagine. And courage doesn't mean not being afraid. It means doing what needs to be done even when you are afraid." "Like you?" Lily asked innocently. "Just like me," confirmed Emily, feeling a lump in her throat. Daniel watched the scene, moved. For months he hadn't seen his daughter open up like this to a stranger. Since they lost her mother, Lily had become a reserved and fearful child, especially regarding doctors and new situations. "Emily, can I ask you a question?" Lily continued. "Of course you can ask me anything. Do you have pain in your leg?" "Sometimes," Emily answered honestly. "But you know what helps me when I'm in pain." "What?" "Thinking of good things, like hot chocolate, smiles from special people like you, and remembering that each day can bring something wonderful." Lily was thoughtful for a moment, processing Emily's words. Daniel took the opportunity to observe better the woman who had transformed his daughter's mood in a matter of minutes. She had straight brown hair tied in a simple ponytail, expressive green eyes, and a smile that radiated genuine warmth. "You're really nice," Lily declared finally. "Can I give you a hug?" Emily felt her eyes well up. It had been a long time since she'd received a spontaneous hug from a child. Most were intimidated or too curious about the wheelchair. "I would love a hug from you," she replied. Lily got up from the chair and ran to hug Emily, who returned the gesture tenderly. Daniel watched the scene with a tight heart, seeing how his daughter behaved naturally, without any trace of the fear she had shown earlier. "Lily, we can't disturb Emily's work," he said softly. "It's no disturbance at all," Emily assured. "Actually, you've brightened my morning." "Can we come back here tomorrow?" Lily asked her father. "Please?" Daniel hesitated. He didn't usually frequent the same place repeatedly, always trying to vary the routine to avoid creating expectations that could be disappointed. But seeing the sparkle in his daughter's eyes, he couldn't bring himself to refuse. "If Emily doesn't mind our presence," he said. "It would be a pleasure to have you any time," Emily answered sincerely. "Yay!" Lily celebrated. "Daddy, tomorrow I'm going to tell Emily about my dentist appointment." "Deal," agreed Emily. "And if you're very brave, I can teach you how to make drawings in the chocolate foam." Lily's eyes shone with excitement. Daniel paid the bill and left a generous tip, still processing what had happened. In 15 minutes, a complete stranger had achieved what he had been trying for weeks, to make Lily forget her fears and smile again. "Thank you," he said to Emily before they left. "You can't imagine how much this meant to us." "Thank you," she replied. "It was the best part of my day." After they left, Emily kept looking out the window until she lost sight of them. It had been a long time since she felt so useful, so connected to someone. That child's energy had awakened something inside her she thought was lost forever. Mrs. Margaret, the cafe owner, approached with a smile. "What a beautiful scene," commented the woman in her 60s. "It's been a while since I've seen you so lively." "They're special," Emily admitted. "The girl reminded me of some things I had forgotten." "Like what?" "How good it is to be able to help someone without them seeing you as a poor thing first." Mrs. Margaret nodded understandingly. She had hired Emily when the young woman was still adapting to life in a wheelchair and had closely followed her entire journey of overcoming. "You know, dear, sometimes we receive exactly what we need when we least expect it." Emily smiled, storing that observation in her heart. Perhaps Mrs. Margaret was right. Perhaps that meeting wasn't just a coincidence. The next day, promptly at 9 in the morning, the cafe door opened and Lily ran in, pulling her father by the hand. "Emily! Emily!" the girl exclaimed excitedly. "I was brave at the dentist." "Lily, slow down," Daniel asked, embarrassed by his daughter's excitement. "Hi, Lily," Emily greeted with enthusiasm. "Tell me everything." "The dentist said my teeth are pretty and that the braces will make them even prettier," Lily chattered as she climbed onto the chair. "And it didn't hurt at all. Well, it hurt a little, but I remembered what you said about being brave." "You're amazing," Emily praised sincerely. "You deserve a special congratulations chocolate." While preparing the drink, Emily felt Daniel's gaze on her. When she turned, she caught him watching her with an expression she couldn't completely decipher, but which made her blush slightly. "Sorry about her excitement," he said. "Since yesterday, she hasn't stopped talking about you." "That makes me very happy," Emily replied honestly. "I thought about you guys too." The confession slipped out before she could contain it, and both were slightly embarrassed by the sincerity of the moment. "Emily, you promised to teach me how to make drawings." Lily interrupted the moment, unaware of the tension between the adults. "Of course. Come here, I'll show you." Emily taught Lily how to make hearts and stars in the chocolate foam using a toothpick. The girl was fascinated by the technique and insisted on making several different drawings. Daniel took advantage of his daughter's distraction to observe Emily more closely. There was something about her that attracted him beyond the obvious kindness. Perhaps it was the quiet strength she emanated, or the way she treated Lily with absolute naturalness, without pity or discomfort. "May I ask how long you've worked here?" he said, when Lily was focused on her drawings. 3 years, Emily answered. "I started right after—" She hesitated. "Right after some changes in my life." I understand. Daniel didn't press, respecting her privacy. It's a welcoming place. Mrs. Margaret is like a second mother to me. She gave me an opportunity when I needed it most. And what's it like working here? Do you like it? Emily thought about the question. She did like it, but she knew she had become comfortable, using the cafe as a shield against the outside world. I like it very much. People are kind most of the time, and I love making coffee. She smiled. And you guys? Are you from the area? We live downtown. Lily goes to a school nearby. And work? I'm a graphic designer. I work mostly from home, which is good for being close to Lily. Emily nodded, noticing he didn't mention a mother. He could be divorced or widowed, but it wasn't in her nature to ask prying questions. Lily interrupted the conversation, proudly showing her drawings in the foam. Look, Daddy, I made a heart for you and a star for Emily. They're beautiful, sweetheart, Daniel praised. Can I take a chocolate for Grandma? Lily asked. Grandma is traveling, remember? Daniel replied carefully. Oh, that's right. Lily seemed to sadden for a moment. She doesn't like it when I get excited about new things. The child's innocent observation made Daniel and Emily exchange a concerned look. It was clear there were complex family issues behind that comment. You know what I think, said Emily, steering the subject away. I think people who get excited about good things are the most special in the world. Lily smiled, relieved, and Daniel silently thanked Emily for her sensitivity. The following days established a natural routine. Daniel and Lily always appeared at the same time, and Emily began preparing the girls' special chocolate in advance. The conversations flowed with increasing ease, and a genuine friendship began to form among the three. Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, please take a moment to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It really helps us who are just starting out, now continuing. A week later, Lily arrived at the cafe quieter than usual. Daniel explained she had had a tough day at school. What happened, Lily? Asked Emily with care. A girl in my class said you can't be my friend, murmured Lily, stirring her hot chocolate without enthusiasm. Why? Emily felt her stomach tighten. She said people in wheelchairs are too different and that Daddy shouldn't bring me here. Daniel clenched his fists, visibly irritated. Lily, you know that's not true, right? He said in a controlled voice. Emily is our friend and nothing will change that. I know, Daddy. I told Madison she was wrong. I told her Emily is the nicest person I know. Emily felt her eyes well up. That child's loyalty touched her deeply. Thank you for defending me, Lily. You are very brave. But why do some people say mean things? Lily asked. It was a difficult question to answer for a 5-year-old. Emily thought carefully before speaking. Sometimes people are afraid of what they don't know. When they get to know it better, they usually change their minds. Like Daddy. Like Daddy what? Daniel asked, confused. At first you got all red when I asked about Emily's chair, but now you don't anymore. Daniel and Emily exchanged a look, both realizing the child's perceptiveness. You're right, Lily, admitted Daniel. At first I was nervous, but not because I thought there was anything wrong with Emily. I was nervous because I didn't know if my questions would make her uncomfortable. And now I know Emily is a special person who deserves all the respect and care in the world. Daniel's declaration made Emily blush intensely. Lily clapped her hands, happy with the answer. See, I knew you would like each other. The innocence of the observation created a moment of tension between the adults. Emily felt her heart race, and Daniel averted his gaze, embarrassed by his daughter's transparency. Lily, how about you help me decorate some cupcakes? Emily proposed, trying to lighten the mood. Can I? Lily perked up immediately. Of course, I'll get the supplies. As Emily moved away to fetch the decorating utensils, Daniel took the opportunity to talk to his daughter. Lily, about what you said about Emily and Daddy. You like each other, don't you, Daddy? She asked innocently. I see you looking at each other. Daniel sighed. His daughter's perceptiveness sometimes surprised him. Emily is a very special person, yes, but it's important we don't go creating expectations, understand? Why not? Because... He struggled to find the right words. Because relationships between adults are complicated. But Mommy always said the good things in life are simple. The mention of her mother made Daniel swallow hard. Lily rarely spoke about her spontaneously. "Mommy did say that," he agreed, "but she also said to be patient with important things." "Is Emily important?" Daniel looked toward the counter, where Emily was organizing the materials for the activity with Lily. In recent days, he had caught himself thinking about her more than he liked to admit. "Yes," he said finally, "she is important." When Emily returned with the cupcakes and decorating materials, she found father and daughter in a serious conversation. Lily soon forgot any worrisome thoughts and focused on the task of decorating the little cakes with colored icing. "You have a knack for this," commented Emily, observing Lily's care. "My mommy liked to cook," Lily said naturally. "She made pretty cakes." "She must be proud seeing how you're learning new things," Emily replied gently. Lily nodded and continued decorating. Daniel observed the interaction, impressed by Emily's sensitivity in handling the subject. "Emily, have you ever been married?" Lily asked suddenly. "Lily!" Daniel scolded. "That's not an appropriate question." "It's okay," Emily smiled. "I've never been married, Lily." "Why not?" "I haven't found the right person yet." "How will you know when you do?" Emily paused in decorating her own cupcake, reflecting on the innocent question that touched a deep wound. "I think you know when you feel complete around someone," she answered carefully. "Like how I feel around you too?" Lily asked sincerely. The question left both adults speechless. Emily felt her heart tighten, and Daniel had to look away to keep from getting emotional. "Exactly like that," Emily managed to reply, her voice choked up. The rest of the activity proceeded in a more introspective mood, each of them processing the child's words that had touched on deep truths without realizing it. When they finished decorating the cupcakes, Lily insisted on taking some home. "To share with whom?" asked Emily. "With Daddy during movie time," Lily replied excitedly. "We always watch a movie together before bed." "What a beautiful tradition," Emily commented. "You could come watch with us," Lily suggested enthusiastically. "Lily," Daniel began but was interrupted. "Please, Daddy? Emily could come over. She'd like our movies." Emily and Daniel exchanged glances, both in unfamiliar territory. The child's suggestion was innocent, but carried implications that made them uncomfortable. "Maybe one day," Emily said diplomatically, "when your father thinks it's a good idea." "Today is a good idea," Lily insisted. "Right, Daddy?" Daniel found himself in a delicate situation. Refusing in front of his daughter would hurt her, but accepting would mean crossing a line he had established to protect them both. "Lily, Emily works late, and we haven't known her for very long," he explained patiently. "But she's our friend," Lily protested, "and friends visit each other." "That's true," Daniel admitted, "but visits need to be planned in advance." Lily pouted, clearly frustrated with the evasive answer. "How about we plan a trip to the park first?" Emily suggested, trying to ease the situation. "If your father agrees, of course." "That could work," Lily perked up again. "Daddy, can we?" Daniel hesitated. A public outing seemed safer than an invitation to their home, but it still represented a deepening of a relationship that made him nervous. "Let's see how the week goes," he said, buying time to think. Lily seemed satisfied with the non-committal answer, but Emily noticed Daniel's reluctance. She wondered if she had been presumptuous in accepting the child's overtures of closeness. When they said goodbye that afternoon, there was a subtle tension in the air that hadn't been there before. Emily questioned whether she had crossed some invisible line, while Daniel wrestled with his own conflicting feelings. That night during the movie ritual, Lily couldn't stop talking about Emily. "Daddy, why did you act weird when I invited Emily?" "I didn't act weird," Daniel lied. "Yes, you did. You always get like that when Grandma Patricia calls." The comparison made Daniel sigh. His ex-mother-in-law had a knack for making him tense with her constant criticism about how he was raising Lily. "It's different, sweetheart." "How is it different?" "Grandma Patricia sometimes worries about things that don't need worrying about. With Emily, it's complicated in a different way." "Complicated how?" Daniel paused the movie and looked at his daughter. How do you explain to a 5-year-old the fears of an adult who had lost his wife and was afraid of getting hurt again? "Sometimes Adults get scared of liking someone too much, he said carefully. Why? Because when we like someone a lot, we get sad if we lose that person. Lily was thoughtful for a moment. Like when Mommy went to heaven. Exactly like when Mommy went to heaven. But Daddy, if we don't like anyone because we're afraid of losing them, we'll be alone forever. His daughter's innocent wisdom hit Daniel like a punch. At 5 years old, Lily had understood something he had struggled to accept for 2 years. You're very smart, he said, hugging her. Sometimes children understand things better than adults. So you won't be scared of Emily anymore? It's not exactly being scared of Emily. It's being scared of some things that might happen. But you like her, right? Daniel closed his eyes, knowing he couldn't lie to his daughter. Yes, I like her. And does she like you? I don't know, Lily. Those things are complicated to figure out. I think she does. She smiles differently when she talks to you. What do you mean, smiles differently? The way Mommy used to smile when you came home. Daniel's heart tightened. Lily was only 2 when they lost her mother, but apparently she held more vivid memories than he had imagined. You remember Mommy smiling at me? I remember some things. She smiled a lot, and when she got sick she said you would take care of me and that I shouldn't be sad if you found someone special for our family. Daniel felt his eyes fill with tears. Sarah had talked to Lily before leaving, trying to prepare her daughter for life without her. Mommy said that? She did. She said families can grow and that love doesn't end. It only grows. His wife's words, relayed by his daughter, echoed in Daniel's heart. Sarah had always been wise, and even knowing she would leave, she had tried to give him permission to move forward. And do you think Emily could be that special person? Lily nodded vigorously. She's kind. She makes you smile for real. And she's not scared of me when I ask questions, and she makes the best chocolate in the world. Daniel laughed through his tears. Lily's logic was irrefutable. Maybe you're right, he admitted. Maybe I've been too scared. So tomorrow will you invite her to the outing? We'll see, said Daniel, but this time with sincerity. I need to think about this properly. Lily snuggled into her father's lap, satisfied with the conversation. Daniel finished the movie distractedly, reflecting on his daughter's words and those of his wife that she had kept in her heart. The next day, Daniel arrived at the cafe with a determination that Lily noticed immediately. Daddy, are you going to talk to Emily today? She whispered as they headed to their usual table. Maybe, he replied, nervous. Emily greeted them as always, but there was a subtle reserve in her manner. She had spent the night wondering if she was being intrusive in their lives. The usual hot chocolate for Lily? She asked. Please, replied Daniel. And Emily, would you have a minute to talk? Of course, she answered, surprised. Lily, how about you draw while I talk with your dad? Lily accepted the paper and crayons offered, and Emily stepped closer to Daniel. I wanted to apologize if yesterday I overstepped any boundaries, she began. I noticed you were uncomfortable with Lily's suggestion about the visits and... No, Daniel interrupted her. You didn't do anything wrong. I'm the one who's been complicated. How so? Daniel took a deep breath, deciding to be honest. Since my wife passed away, I've built up some walls to protect Lily and myself. Meeting you has shaken those walls. Emily felt her heart race. It was the first time he had directly mentioned his wife and opened up about his feelings. I understand, she said softly. I can imagine how difficult it must be. Lily made me realize yesterday that I'm letting fear stop me from living some good things. She is very wise for her age. She is. And she insisted I ask you if you'd like to take that walk in the park you two talked about. Emily smiled, feeling a weight lift from her shoulders. I'd love to. When were you thinking? How about Sunday if you're not working? I'm off Sunday. That would be perfect. Great, Daniel smiled, seeming more relaxed. And Emily, thank you for your patience with me. Thank you for trusting me, she replied. Lily, who had been pretending to be focused on her drawing, looked up with eyes shining with excitement. Did you plan the walk? She asked animatedly. We did, confirmed Daniel. Are you happy? Very happy. She bounced in her chair. Can I bring my new kite? Of course, Emily answered. I'd love to see you fly it. Lily's enthusiasm was contagious, and for the first time in weeks, Emily allowed herself to feel genuine anticipation for something beyond her daily work at the cafe. Sunday arrived with a perfect blue sky and a gentle breeze. Daniel and Lily came by to pick up Emily at her home, a small adapted ground-floor apartment in a building near downtown. Lily was fascinated by the modifications Emily had made to the space to make it functional. There were discrete support bars, furniture at the ideal height, and a small vertical garden that added color to the environment. "Your house is beautiful," exclaimed Lily. "Can I see your room?" "Lily," Daniel scolded, "we can't go snooping around Emily's house." "It's okay," Emily laughed. "I can show you quickly." The apartment was small but cozy, decorated with taste and functionality. Daniel noticed some photos of Emily before the accident, playing sports and traveling, but she didn't dwell on comments about them. "Are you ready for the park?" he asked when they returned to the living room. "Absolutely ready." Emily picked up a small backpack. "I brought water and some snacks to share." At the park, Lily immediately ran to the playground, leaving the adults to walk at a more leisurely pace along the paved paths. Emily had brought a sports wheelchair, lighter and more maneuverable than the one she used for work. "You seem more comfortable in this chair," observed Daniel. "This is my going-out chair," explained Emily. "The one at the cafe is heavier and more stable for working standing up for long periods." "You have several?" "Two. I saved for months to buy this one. It makes a difference to have the right equipment for each situation." They found a grassy spot where Lily could safely fly her kite. The girl was euphoric when the kite finally went up and stabilized in the air. "Emily, look, it's flying," she shouted. "It's beautiful," Emily replied, genuinely impressed with the child's skill. Daniel watched the interaction between the two, with a new feeling forming in his chest. Seeing Emily and Lily so naturally connected stirred in him a sense of wholeness he hadn't felt in years. "Daddy, come fly it too," Lily called. "You can go," Emily encouraged. "I'll stay here and watch you." "Are you sure?" "Absolutely, I love seeing people having fun." Daniel joined his daughter in the kite-flying activity, but he constantly looked back at Emily, who watched them with a serene smile. At one point, the kite got tangled in a tall tree and Lily was disappointed. "Now what are we going to do?" she asked sadly. "Let's think of a solution," said Daniel, assessing the situation. "I have an idea," Emily approached. "Lily, did you know there are people who specialize in rescuing things stuck in trees?" "There are." Lily perked up. "Of course." "Lifeguards, firefighters, people who do tree trimming." Emily looked around. "Or we can improvise." "How?" "Let's find a long branch and try to reach the kite string." The three began a kite rescue mission, searching for suitable branches and devising strategies. Lily was loving the adventure, turning a frustrating situation into a game. "I found one," she shouted, carrying a branch almost her size. "Perfect, Explorer Lily," Emily praised. "Now let's see if we can reach it." Daniel, following Emily's instructions, managed to untangle the kite after several attempts. Lily celebrated as if they had conquered the world. "We're the best kite rescuers in the park," she declared. "Definitely," agreed Emily, laughing. They settled in the shade of a tree to have a snack. Emily had prepared sandwiches, fruit and fresh juice. Lily ate heartily while telling stories from school and making plans for the next adventure. "Emily, did you fly kites when you were a kid?" asked Lily. "I did. My older brother taught me." "You have a brother? Where is he?" "He lives in New York, works there. We talk all the time, but we don't see each other often." "Does he know you're our friend?" "Yes, he does. I tell him about the special people I meet." "What did he say?" "He said he was happy to know I'd found such dear friends." Lily smiled, pleased with the answer. Daniel watched how Emily answered the questions honestly, but without giving more information than Lily's age could process. "And your parents?" Lily continued, curious. "They live in the countryside in a small town near Asheville. I see them little too, but we talk a lot." "Do they know about us too?" "They do, and they're very curious to meet you." "Really?" Lily got excited. "We could go visit them." "Lily," Daniel gently intervened. Those are conversations for adults to decide. But it would be cool, right, Dad? Daniel looked at Emily, who smiled understandingly. It would be, he admitted. But first we need to get to know each other better. How long does it take to get to know each other better? Lily insisted. There's no set time, Emily replied. Every friendship grows at its own pace. Like a plant? Exactly like a plant. It needs care, patience, and affection to grow strong. The metaphor pleased Lily, who seemed satisfied with the explanation. The rest of the snack went on in a relaxed mood, with Lily telling jokes she'd learned at school, and the adults pretending they were hilarious. When it was time to go back, Lily didn't want to leave. Can I come here again with you? She asked. Of course, Emily answered. If your dad agrees, we can make it a tradition. A tradition? Lily perked up. It's when we do something special regularly, explained Daniel. Like our movie every night? Exactly. So now we have two traditions. Movie nights with Dad and the park with Emily. And sometimes all the traditions can happen together, Emily suggested carefully. Lily clapped her hands, but Daniel noticed the deeper suggestion behind Emily's words. On the way back, Lily fell asleep in the back seat of the car, exhausted from the adventure. Daniel and Emily talked quietly during the drive. Thank you for today, he said. It's been a long time since I've seen Lily so happy. Thank you for including me. I had a lot of fun too. Can I ask you a personal question? Sure. Do you miss before? Emily understood he was referring to the time before the accident. I miss some things, yes, mostly the spontaneity, being able to go anywhere without planning. But I've learned to value other things I might not have paid attention to before. Like what? The kindness of people, the importance of little things, the strength that exists inside me that I didn't even know I had. You are very strong, he said sincerely. You are too. Raising a child alone can't be easy. Some days are desperate, admitted Daniel, especially when she asks questions about her mother or when I realize she's growing up so fast. You are doing an amazing job. Lily is a happy and secure child. Sometimes I'm afraid I'm not enough for her. Can I tell you something? Emily looked at him. Parents who worry about being enough are usually more than enough. Emily's words comforted Daniel in a way he didn't expect. It had been a long time since he'd talked about his insecurities with someone who really listened without judging. When they arrived at Emily's apartment, Lily woke up just to say goodbye. Emily, thank you for the most fun day of my life, said the sleepy girl. Thank you, Princess. Sleep well. Will we see you tomorrow at the cafe? Of course. After Emily went inside, Daniel stayed in the car for a few minutes, processing the day. For the first time since his wife's death, he had allowed himself to imagine what it would be like to share family moments with someone. Lily, still sleepy, made an observation that surprised him. Daddy, today was like having a complete family again. Daniel's heart tightened. He hadn't realized how the absence of a mother figure was affecting Lily until he saw her so natural and happy with Emily. Did you like having Emily with us? He asked. A lot. She makes you less sad, Daddy. I didn't know you noticed when I'm sad. I notice everything. But today you smiled in a way you haven't smiled in a long time. Lily's observations echoed in Daniel's mind all week. He began to pay more attention to his own feelings and realized he truly felt lighter and more optimistic since Emily had entered their lives. At the cafe, the morning routine had become the highlight of his days. Emily always greeted them with genuine enthusiasm, and conversations flowed naturally about the most diverse subjects. Lily was clearly becoming more and more attached to her, but in a healthy and spontaneous way. Dear listener, if you are enjoying the story, please take a moment to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It helps us a lot as we are just starting out. Now continuing. One Thursday morning completely changed the calm atmosphere that had been established. Daniel arrived at the cafe visibly tense, and Lily seemed downcast. Good morning, greeted Emily, immediately noticing something was wrong. Good morning, Daniel replied curtly. The usual, please. Lily said nothing, just settled into her chair without her usual excitement. Emily prepared the girls hot chocolate and approached the table. Is everything okay? She asked kindly. Grandma Patricia is back from her trip, Lily murmured. She didn't like hearing that we have a new friend. Daniel shot a warning look at his daughter, clearly uncomfortable with the subject. Lily, let's avoid unnecessary comments, he said. But Daddy, Emily needs to know that Grandma didn't like her. Grandma doesn't know Emily. Daniel tried to deflect. So she can't have formed a real opinion. Emily felt her stomach tighten. Family problems involving her presence were exactly what she feared. Maybe it's better if I give you two some space, she said diplomatically. I don't want to cause trouble. No, Lily protested immediately. You're not causing trouble. Grandma is the one being mean. Lily, Daniel reprimanded more firmly. But it's true, Daddy. She said you shouldn't expose a child to inappropriate situations. The sentence echoed in the cafe, leaving everyone present embarrassed. Emily felt her cheeks burn with humiliation. Inappropriate situations, she repeated softly, more to herself. Emily, please don't take this seriously, Daniel pleaded. My ex-mother-in-law has very specific opinions about how I should raise Lily. I understand, Emily replied, but her voice was different. Maybe she's right about some points. How so? Maybe I got too involved in your lives without realizing it. That's not true, Lily interjected. You didn't get too involved. Grandma just doesn't know you. Lily, sweetie, maybe it really is better if I take a little break. Emily knelt to the girl's height. That doesn't mean we stop being friends. But why? Lily began to cry. You didn't do anything wrong. Sometimes adults need to sort some things out first, Emily explained with a broken heart. Daniel watched the scene, feeling helpless. He knew Emily was pulling away to protect everyone, but he couldn't find the right words to stop her. Emily, you don't have to do this, he finally said. Yes, I do, Daniel. I don't want to be a source of conflict in your family. You're not a source of conflict. The problem isn't you. But maybe it's wiser to keep my distance until things calm down. Lily got up from her chair and hugged Emily, crying openly. Please don't go, the girl begged. I promise I'll tell Grandma you're nice. Shh, Princess, Emily comforted, fighting back her own tears. This isn't your fault, and it's not your responsibility, okay? Then whose fault is it? It's nobody's fault, Emily lied. Sometimes things get complicated and we need to be patient. Daniel stood up abruptly. Emily, can I talk to you in private? They stepped away behind the counter, leaving Lily crying at the table. You can't just disappear from her life, Daniel said in a low but firm voice. I'm not going to disappear, I'm just going to reduce the frequency. That's the same thing to a 5-year-old. So what do you suggest? That I ignore her grandmother's feelings? I suggest you don't make decisions based on the prejudices of someone who doesn't even know you. Daniel, I heard very clearly what Lily said. Your ex-mother-in-law thinks I'm an inappropriate influence on the child. And you agree? Emily hesitated. I don't know if I have the right to be so present in the life of a child who isn't mine. Right? Daniel raised his voice. Who determines that right? Her family. You, the grandmother, the people who really matter in her life. And you think you don't matter? The question hit Emily like a punch. She looked at Lily, who was still crying at the table, and felt her heart break. I thought I did matter, she whispered, but maybe I was mistaken about my place here. Your place is where you feel good and where people want you. Lily wants you here. I want you here. And her grandmother? Her grandmother will have to learn to accept the people who are part of our lives. And if she doesn't accept it, what if this becomes a bigger problem? Daniel fell silent. He knew Patricia was capable of creating very unpleasant situations when she disapproved of his decisions. Then we'll face it together, he finally said. Together? Emily stared at him. Daniel, we don't even really know what we are to each other. Yes, we do, he replied with conviction. We're important people in each other's lives. That's not enough to face family problems. Why not? Because I'm not family. The sentence came out louder than Emily intended, and Lily heard it. The girl stopped crying and looked at them with a confused expression. But you could be, Lily said innocently. Daniel and Emily exchanged glances, both shocked by the child's simple observation. "Lily, these are complicated conversations," said Daniel. "Why are they complicated? If you like each other and I like both of you, why can't we be a family?" The question hung in the air. Emily felt her legs tremble and leaned on the counter. "Lily, come here," she called the girl. "I need to explain something important to you." Lily approached, her eyes still red from crying. "Sometimes adults need more time to understand their feelings. What you're suggesting is very special, but it needs to happen at the right time." "And when will the right time be?" "We don't know yet. That's why we need to be patient. But in the meantime, are you going to disappear?" "I'm not going to disappear, but maybe we'll see each other less for a while." "I don't want to see you less." Lily began to cry again. "I want to see you every day, like always." "I know, Princess. I want that too." "Then why are you leaving?" Emily looked at Daniel, seeking help to answer the question she herself didn't know how to answer. "Because sometimes we need to prove to other people that our friendships are true and important," Daniel finally said. "How do we prove that?" "By being patient and showing that our friendship is strong, even when we go through difficult times." "Like a test?" "Like a test," agreed Emily, grateful for the analogy that Lily could understand. "And if we pass the test? If we pass, our friendship will become even stronger," Emily promised. "Do you promise you won't forget about us?" "I promise I will never, ever forget you." Lily seemed slightly comforted by the promise, but was still visibly sad. "Is Grandma Patricia coming here?" she asked. "I don't know," Daniel answered honestly. "Why?" "Because if she comes, I'm going to tell her that Emily is the nicest person in the world and that she's wrong." "Lily, you don't need to fight with Grandma because of me," Emily said gently. "But I want to defend you, like you defended me when Madison said mean things." The child's loyalty touched Emily deeply. She hugged Lily tightly, etching that moment into her heart. "You are the bravest girl I know," she whispered. "But let the adults handle this situation, okay?" "Okay," Lily agreed reluctantly, "but I won't stop rooting for you." When father and daughter left the cafe that morning, the atmosphere was heavy with sadness. Emily retreated to the stockroom and cried for the first time since the accident. She didn't cry for the wheelchair, for the loss of the life she had planned, but for having found something special and having to let it go for fear of complications. Mrs. Margaret found her a few hours later, her eyes still red. "Dear, what happened?" Emily recounted the whole situation, including the feelings she had developed for Daniel and Lily. "You're doing the right thing," said Mrs. Margaret after hearing everything. "Am I?" Emily doubted. "Because I feel like I'm abandoning people I love." "Love?" Mrs. Margaret smiled sadly. "So it's not just friendship?" "I don't know what it is anymore," Emily admitted. "I only know it hurts to think of losing them. If it's true love, it will withstand this test, and if it doesn't, it wasn't meant to be." "What if the ex-mother-in-law is right? What if I really am unsuitable to be near them?" "Emily Carter," Mrs. Margaret chided her affectionately. "You are one of the most decent people I know. Any child would be lucky to have you around." "But I'm in a wheelchair. That could be complicated for a child." "Does Lily seem bothered by your wheelchair?" "No, she doesn't even care." "Then the problem isn't with the child or with you. It's in the heads of adults full of prejudice." Mrs. Margaret's words made sense, but they didn't lessen Emily's pain. She had tasted something she didn't know she wanted, and now she had to let it go. The following days were difficult for everyone. Daniel would appear at the cafe sporadically, always seeming embarrassed and sad. Lily asked about Emily constantly, and he no longer knew what to say. "Daddy, is Emily mad at us?" Lily asked on a Tuesday afternoon. "No, sweetheart, she's not mad." "Then why is she avoiding us?" "She's not avoiding us. She's giving things some time to settle down." "When will things settle down?" "I don't know, Lily." "Is Grandma Patricia still mad?" "Grandma isn't mad. She just has very strong opinions about some things." "Wrong opinions?" Daniel sighed. "How do you explain the complexities of adult prejudices to a child?" Sometimes people are afraid of what's different, even when that difference isn't bad. Is Emily different because she uses a wheelchair? For some people, yes. But she's still the same person inside. Exactly. But not everyone can see that. Can't Grandma Patricia see it? Grandma needs time to understand some things. Lily was thoughtful for a moment. Daddy, if we talk to Grandma, can she change her mind? Maybe. But it's not our responsibility to change people's opinions, Lily. But if we don't try, how will they learn? His daughter's wisdom surprised Daniel once again. Lily had touched on a fundamental point. How could people overcome prejudices if they were never confronted with reality? You're right, he admitted. Maybe we should talk to Grandma. Today? Let's think about how to do it in the best way, Daniel promised. That night, Daniel called Patricia and asked to talk in person. She agreed to come for dinner on Saturday, thinking he had finally come to his senses about the inappropriate situation. Patricia, I need to talk to you about some things, Daniel said when she arrived. I can imagine what about, she replied curtly. I hope you've thought about what I said regarding Lily's companions. I've thought a lot, and that's why I want you to get to know Emily better before forming definitive opinions. Daniel, you don't understand the responsibility of raising a girl. You can't keep exposing her to... To what? He interrupted. To a kind, intelligent, and caring person who clearly adores Lily. To a person who could create inappropriate dependencies or confuse a child's developing mind. How could she confuse Lily's mind? A child shouldn't have to deal with disabilities. It could be traumatizing. Traumatizing, Daniel raised his voice. Lily has never seemed happier or more confident than since she met Emily. For now. But what about when she asks difficult questions? When she realizes life isn't always a fairy tale? Life already isn't a fairy tale for Lily, Patricia. She lost her mother at 3. If anyone understands life can be hard, it's her. Exactly. That's why she needs stability, not more complications. Emily isn't a complication. She's one of the most stable people I know. Lily, who was playing in her room, heard the raised voices and decided to investigate. She appeared in the living room holding her teddy bear. Why are you fighting? She asked in a small voice. We're not fighting, dear, Patricia composed herself. Just talking about grown-up things. Is it about Emily? Lily asked directly. Patricia and Daniel exchanged looks, surprised by the child's perceptiveness. Yes, it is, Daniel decided to be honest. Grandma has some concerns about our friendship with Emily. What kind of concerns? Lily approached her grandmother. Well, Patricia hesitated, realizing she was in a delicate position. Grandma, do you know Emily? Lily asked innocently. Not personally, but... Then how do you know you have to worry? The simple question left Patricia speechless. Lily continued. Emily is the nicest person I know. She teaches me things, makes the best chocolate in the world, and makes Daddy smile. Honey, I'm sure she's kind, but she can't walk with her legs, but that doesn't change anything. She's still smart, funny, and caring. Lily, you're too young to understand some things. I understand that Emily makes me happy and that I make her happy too. Isn't that a good thing? Patricia looked at her granddaughter, seeing for the first time how the child spoke about Emily with genuine love. And you, Grandma? Do you have someone who makes you happy? Lily continued. Of course I do. You all make me happy. Then you understand how I feel about Emily. It's not the same thing, Lily. Why not? Patricia realized she was being cornered by her granddaughter's innocent logic. She looked at Daniel, who was observing the interaction in silence. Grandma. Lily moved closer. Emily asked about you. She said she was sad because you don't like her without knowing her. She said that? She said that some people are afraid of what they don't know, but that when they get to know it better, they usually change their minds. Emily's words, repeated by the child, touched something in Patricia. She began to realize that perhaps her reactions had been based more on fear of the unknown than on real concerns. And what else did she say? She asked, genuinely curious. She said that you must love us very much to worry, but that love doesn't need to be afraid. Daniel's eyes widened. He didn't know Emily had talked about Patricia with Lily. She really said that? He asked. She did, And she also said she hopes to meet you one day, Grandma, because people who raise special people like Daddy must be special too. Emily's generous words, conveyed through Lily's innocence, had an unexpected impact on Patricia. She had expected to find resentment or criticism, but instead received understanding and praise. "She seems like a very wise person," Patricia finally admitted. "Yeah," Lily perked up. "Do you want to meet her?" Patricia looked at Daniel, who awaited her answer expectantly. "Maybe that's a good idea," she said slowly. "If it's important to you, it's important to me too." Lily jumped for joy and hugged her grandmother. "Can we go to the cafe tomorrow?" she asked. "Easy, Princess," Daniel intervened. "Let's make proper plans first." "Can I call her?" Lily asked. "Lily," Emily asked for some time, remember? "We have to respect that." "But now Grandma wants to meet her. Things have changed." "It's true," Patricia admitted. "Things have changed, and I owe that young lady an apology." Daniel felt a wave of relief. Perhaps there was hope to resolve the situation without anyone getting hurt. "So, are we going to the cafe tomorrow?" Lily insisted. "Yes, we are," agreed Patricia. "And Lily?" "Yes, Grandma." "Thank you for teaching me some things today." "You're welcome. Emily says everyone can learn new things every day." Daniel smiled, realizing how Emily had positively influenced his daughter's philosophy of life. He could hardly wait to tell her about the conversation and see the smile return to Lily's face. The next morning, the trio headed to the cafe with Lily practically bouncing with excitement. She had woken up early and chosen her prettiest outfit for the special occasion. "Remember, Lily," said Daniel on the way, "Emily might be surprised to see us. Let's take it easy." "I'll be polite," promised Lily. "But I'm also going to give her the biggest hug." Patricia observed her granddaughter's excitement, beginning to understand how much that friendship meant to the child. When they entered the cafe, Emily was serving other customers. She looked in their direction and stopped for a moment, clearly surprised. Lily waved enthusiastically, but respected her father's guidance to wait. Emily finished serving the customers and approached the table where they had settled. Her heart was racing, especially upon seeing Patricia. "Hi," she greeted timidly. "Hi, Emily?" Lily could no longer contain herself and stood up to hug her. "I missed you so much." "I missed you too, Princess." Emily returned the hug, fighting back tears. "Emily," Daniel stood up. "This is Patricia, Sarah's mother and Lily's grandmother." "Nice to meet you." Emily extended her hand, nervous. Patricia observed the young woman carefully. She was even younger than she had imagined, and there was a genuine sweetness in her eyes that was hard to ignore. "The pleasure is mine." Patricia shook her hand. "Lily has told me a lot about you." "I hope good things." Emily tried to smile. "Very good things. In fact, I came here to apologize for forming opinions without knowing you." The sincerity of the apology caught Emily off guard. "You don't need to apologize. It's natural to want to protect Lily." "But it's not natural to judge someone for the wrong reasons," Patricia insisted, "and from what I see, my concerns were unfounded." "Can I get you anything?" Emily asked, still processing the change in attitude. "Lily's hot chocolate and coffee for us," Daniel replied, "if you have time to sit with us later." "Of course," Emily smiled genuinely for the first time in days. While preparing the orders, Emily listened to Lily excitedly telling Patricia about all the adventures they had lived together. The girl described every detail with enthusiasm, making it clear how precious those memories were to her. When Emily returned with the drinks, Patricia surprised her with a direct question. "Emily, may I know how you feel about my family?" "Patricia?" Daniel tried to intervene, embarrassed. "It's okay," Emily assured. "It's a fair question." She took a deep breath before answering. "I feel privileged to be part of their lives, even from a distance. Lily is a special child, and Daniel is a dedicated father. They have taught me a lot about strength and true love." "And what are your intentions?" "My intentions," Emily was confused, "regarding the future of this friendship." Emily looked at Lily, who was drinking her hot chocolate, unaware of the seriousness of the conversation, and then at Daniel. My intentions are to be a positive presence in their lives for as long as they want me around. Nothing more, nothing less. Even knowing that Lily is clearly becoming attached to you as a mother figure? The question was direct and painful. Emily felt her heart race. I don't presume to replace anyone. If my presence is causing confusion for Lily, perhaps it really is better for me to step away. No, Lily interrupted, having heard the last part. I'm not confused. I know you're not my mum, but I want you in our family anyway. Lily, Patricia said gently, what kind of family do you imagine? A family where everyone loves and cares for each other, like Emily cares for me and Daddy, and like we care for her too. And do you think that can work? Why can't it? Lily asked innocently. Families come in different sizes. Madison from school has 2 dads and a sister who isn't a blood relative, but they are happy. The simplicity of Lily's answer touched everyone present. Patricia realized she was looking at the situation through the eyes of a more open and inclusive generation. And you, Daniel? Patricia asked her son-in-law. How do you feel about this? Daniel looked at Emily, who awaited his response with visible anxiety. I feel complete, he admitted. For the first time since Sarah left, I feel like we're moving towards something good, instead of just surviving. And you, Emily? Patricia turned to her. I feel scared, Emily confessed honestly. Scared because I've never wanted something this much and I'm afraid I won't be enough. Enough how? As a partner, as a maternal figure, as a person. I have limitations that could complicate things. What limitations? Lily asked. You do everything I like to do. Lily is right, Patricia observed. In what ways do you feel limited? I can't run after her in the park. I can't carry her when she's tired. I can't... Emily, Daniel gently interrupted her. Do you think those things define what it means to be a good person in a child's life? They don't, Lily answered before Emily could speak. What matters is that you listen to me, understand me, teach me cool things, and make me laugh. Besides, Patricia surprisingly added, a child who grows up seeing diversity as normal becomes a more empathetic and understanding adult. Emily's eyes widened, not expecting support from Lily's grandmother. You really think that? She asked. I talked a lot with Lily yesterday, and I realized she's developed an impressive emotional maturity since she met you. She talks about differences as if they were the most natural thing in the world. Because they are, Lily exclaimed. Everyone is different in some way. Exactly, Patricia agreed, and the sooner we learn that, the better. The relief Emily felt was so intense that she began to cry silently. Daniel reached out and touched her hand, a gesture of support that didn't go unnoticed by anyone. So are we all in agreement that this friendship should continue? Patricia asked. Yes, Lily shouted, making the whole cafe look in their direction. Yes, Daniel confirmed, gently squeezing Emily's hand. Yes, Emily whispered through tears. Great, Patricia smiled. Now I want to hear all about this kite you rescued from the tree. Lily immediately began to tell the whole story again, with dramatic details that made everyone laugh. The tense atmosphere finally dissipated, and for the first time the 4 of them sat together as an extended family. Patricia stayed at the cafe for over 2 hours, talking and getting to know Emily better. She asked about her background, her future plans, and her family. The more they talked, the clearer it became that her initial concerns had been unfounded. Can I ask you a favor? Patricia said as they were saying goodbye. Of course, Emily replied. Be patient with us as we navigate this new dynamic. It's hard for a grandmother to accept she's sharing her granddaughter with someone new, but I see it's what's best for Lily. I understand perfectly, and thank you for giving me a chance. Thank you for taking such good care of my family, Patricia replied sincerely. When they left, Lily was beaming with happiness. Can I come back every day now? She asked. Yes, you can, Daniel confirmed, if Emily wants to put up with us. I'll always want to, Emily assured. And can Grandma come sometimes too? Of course she can, Emily smiled. The more special people, the better. Lily gave Emily one last hug before leaving. Thank you for not giving up on us, she whispered. I'll never give up on you, Emily promised. That was the first day in a long time that Emily finished work truly happy. The pieces were falling into place, and for the first time since the accident, she could imagine a future full of possibilities. In the following weeks, the routine re-established itself in an even richer way. Patricia appeared at the cafe a few times a week, and her presence brought an interesting dynamic. She and Emily developed their own friendship based on their mutual affection for Lily and Daniel. "You know Daniel is in love with you, right?" Patricia said one afternoon when Lily was at school. "Patricia!" Emily blushed intensely. "No use pretending you haven't noticed. The way he looks at you, how happy he gets when you arrive here. Ideas we've never talked about it. Maybe it's time you did. Life is too short to waste chances to be happy. And what if it doesn't work out? What if I ruin the friendship? And what if it does work out? What if it's exactly what you both need?" Patricia's words echoed in Emily's head for days. She began to pay more attention to the signs Daniel gave, and there really was something there that went beyond friendship. The confirmation came a week later, during an unexpected event. Lily had prepared a surprise for Emily at the cafe, a drawing showing the three of them together, with the phrase, "My favorite family," written in crooked child's letters. "Lily, what is this?" Emily asked, moved. "It's the three of us, see? Me, you and Daddy. And underneath I wrote that you are my favorite family." "But sweetie, we're not a real family." Lily tilted her head, confused. "Why not? We love each other, spend time together, take care of each other. Isn't that family?" Emily looked at Daniel, who was watching the scene with visible emotion. "Lily is right," he said softly. "Maybe it's time we admit what we really are." "And what are we?" Emily asked, her heart beating fast. "We're a family that chose each other," Daniel replied, "and maybe it's time to make it official." Lily clapped her hands, understanding something important was happening. "Official how?" "Like people who decide to build a life together," Daniel explained, without taking his eyes off Emily. "Daniel, are you—" "I'm saying I love you," he interrupted, "and I want you to be part of our real family." The words Emily had dreamed of hearing were finally spoken. She felt the world spin around her. "I love you too," she whispered, "and I love Lily as if she were my own daughter." Lily could no longer contain herself and shouted with joy, "Does that mean Emily is going to be my new mom?" "If she wants to," Daniel smiled. "If I want to." Emily was crying and laughing at the same time. "It's all I want most in the world." It was at this exact moment that Lily, in her pure and sincere innocence, climbed onto a chair and said loudly for the whole cafe to hear, "My dad said you're beautiful inside and out." The silence that followed was deafening. All the cafe customers turned to them, and Lily, realizing she had drawn attention, continued, "And he's right. Emily is the most beautiful person I know. Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, please take a moment to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It really helps us who are just starting out. Now continuing." Spontaneous applause from the other cafe customers filled the space. Emily was red with emotion and embarrassment, while Daniel laughed and cried simultaneously at his daughter's sincerity. "Lily Carter," he said between laughs, "you just made the most public love declaration in history." "Was it good?" she asked innocently. "It was perfect," Emily answered, pulling her into a hug. Mrs. Margaret appeared with a bottle of sparkling wine she kept for special occasions, and they toasted right there in the middle of the cafe, with Lily drinking grape juice in a real glass. "A toast to the new Carter family," declared Mrs. Margaret. "To the new Carter family," echoed the customers who remained in the place. Patricia appeared at the cafe a few hours later and found the three still celebrating, surrounded by makeshift congratulatory cards from the regular customers. "What did I miss?" she asked, smiling at the scene. "Grandma," Lily ran to her, "Daddy asked Emily to be his girlfriend." "Marriage," Daniel corrected, making Emily choke on her juice. "Marriage?" she repeated, incredulous. "Well," Daniel turned red, "I kind of got carried away with Lily's announcement and—" "And do you accept?" Lily asked Emily eagerly. Emily looked around, at Daniel, nervous but hopeful, At Lily, with eyes shining with anticipation. At Patricia, smiling with approval. At Mrs. Margaret and the customers who had become involuntary witnesses to that moment. "I accept," she said simply. The second wave of applause was even more intense than the first. Lily threw herself into Emily's arms, Daniel kissed her for the first time, and Patricia discreetly wiped away tears. "Sarah would be so happy," Patricia whispered to herself. The following months were filled with planning and adjustments. Emily and Daniel decided on a simple ceremony, at the very cafe that had been the stage for the beginning of their story. Lily appointed herself the officiant of the ceremony, a role everyone thought was perfect. The relationship deepened naturally and gradually. Emily began spending more time at their house, helping Lily with homework and participating in family routines. Daniel adapted some rooms to make the house completely accessible, a demonstration of love that deeply touched Emily. "You didn't have to do all this," she said when she saw the modifications. "Of course I did," he replied. "This is going to be our home. It has to be perfect for all of us." Lily was euphoric with the wedding preparations. She chose the flowers, helped decorate the cafe, and insisted on giving a speech during the ceremony. "I want to talk about how Emily saved our family," she announced. "Lily, she didn't save our family," Daniel tried to explain. "She joined it." "No, Daddy. Before Emily, we were sad even while trying to be happy. Now we're truly happy." The child's perspective was once again surprisingly accurate. Emily had indeed filled a void they didn't even know existed. A week before the wedding, Patricia surprised everyone with a special gift. She had found, among Sarah's belongings, a letter she had written for Daniel before she died. "She asked me to give it to you when you found someone special," Patricia explained. "I think the time has come." Daniel opened the letter with trembling hands, and Emily supported him as he read aloud. "My love, if you're reading this, it means you've found someone special to share your life and care for our Lily. Don't feel guilty for being happy again. I want you to have a family full of love, laughter, and adventures. Take good care of our girl and allow her to have a new mother who loves her as much as I did. Life is a gift, and love only multiplies when it's shared. Be happy always. With all my love, Sarah." There wasn't a dry eye in the room when he finished reading. Lily, who had listened to everything, approached Emily. "Mummy said it's okay," she said. "Now you can be my heart mom officially." "I already was," Emily replied through tears. "Now we're just making it official." The wedding day arrived with radiant sunshine, and the cafe transformed into a small paradise. The tables were rearranged, flowers adorned every corner, and the regular customers became special guests. Lily, dressed in a yellow dress that matched Emily's, took on her role as officiant with adorable seriousness. "We are gathered here today," she began, reading from a crumpled piece of paper, "to join two people who already loved each other, but didn't know it at first." The audience's tender laughter encouraged Lily to continue. "Daddy told Emily that she is beautiful inside and out, and he was right. Emily told Daddy that he is a wonderful father, and she was right too." Daniel and Emily looked at each other, both moved by the sweetness of the improvised ceremony. "Do you promise to love each other forever?" asked Lily. "I do," answered Daniel. "I do," answered Emily. "Even if you have wheels, braces, or other different things?" Lily added spontaneously, drawing laughter and tears from everyone. "Especially then," Daniel replied. "Then now you are officially married," Lily announced, "and I officially have a complete family again." The applause was deafening. Daniel kissed Emily while Lily threw herself into their arms. Patricia wiped her tears proudly, and Mrs. Margaret toasted with the guests. "Can I call Emily Mom now?" Lily asked. "You can call her whatever you want," Daniel answered. "So, Mum, Emily?" Lily tried. "Perfect," Emily smiled. "And you can call me whatever makes you happiest." "You are my heart, Mom," declared Lily, "and now everyone knows." The party continued late into the night, with music, dancing, and many stories shared. The three danced together, with Lily in Daniel's arms and Emily spinning her chair to the rhythm of the music, creating a picture of family that no one would ever forget. When the night came to an end and the guests said their goodbyes, the new Carter family settled into the most secluded corner of the cafe, planning their future. "What are we doing tomorrow?" asked Lily, sleepy. "We are starting our life together," answered Emily. "Forever?" "Forever," the parents confirmed in unison. Lily smiled contentedly and fell asleep right there, nestled between her two parents. Daniel and Emily watched her sleep, still processing the entire journey that had brought them there. "Do you regret anything?" Daniel asked softly. "Only taking so long to accept that I deserve to be happy," answered Emily. "And now?" "Now I know that happiness doesn't have a standard shape. It can come in a wheelchair, with a 5-year-old saying truths that adults are afraid to speak, and with a love that grew slowly until it filled the whole heart." "I love you," Daniel said simply. "I love you both," she replied. "And for the first time in my life, I feel exactly where I'm supposed to be." They remained there, embracing in the quiet early morning of the cafe, knowing they had found something rare and precious. A family built not by the chances of genetics, but by the conscious choices of the heart. Lily had been right from the start. Love didn't need complication. It just needed the courage to allow itself to exist, to grow, and to transform lives. And so a simple child's phrase, "My dad said you're beautiful," had planted the seed of a love story that grew beyond all expectations, proving that sometimes the most beautiful things in life begin with the innocent honesty of those who haven't yet learned to be afraid of speaking the truth. The following years brought a routine of everyday happiness. Lily grew up in an environment where diversity was celebrated, becoming an exceptionally empathetic and strong child. Emily flourished as a mother and wife, discovering aspects of herself that the accident had temporarily hidden. Daniel learned that love doesn't replace, it multiplies. The cafe became a meeting point for unconventional families in the area, a place where everyone felt accepted and welcome. Mrs. Margaret, now considered Lily's honorary grandmother, always said that love had transformed that space into something even more special. And Patricia, who had started the story as an opponent, became one of the biggest defenders of the family her granddaughter had helped create. She used to say that Lily had taught her that prejudice is just fear in disguise, and that true love always finds a way to win. End of story. And you, dear listener, what did you think of this love story that began with a child's sincerity? Lily's simple sentence transformed 2 lives because sometimes the purest truth comes from the most innocent hearts. Tell us in the comments which part moved you the most and whether you believe true love can overcome any difference. Leave your like, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss other touching stories like this one, and share your own experience about how small words can change everything.